pain of that loss is you cannot prepare yourself for it. It's so bad. And I don't feel it anymore, but I remember it. And I think it's important to remember it because that helps others that are in that place.
It was devastating. I mean, like we said before, this is something we didn't choose. And I mean, life was rolling along. And I mean, like when you get married, you end the wedding vows until death do us part. Nobody ever thinks of that. And it happened.
If I had the magical power to bring both of them back, I would do it right now. And I would never have seen either one of them die. We would have gone on with the lives we thought we had, but we can't. We don't get to vote.
As far as I'm concerned, our past spouses help us enable this relationship.
Oh.
How to live life a second time around, and it is so much easier the second time around because you know what you lost before, and it makes it that much better the second time around, and you're a lot more gentle on each other, I think, too.
Yeah, we know what we have because we know what we lost.
Right.
We've been asked more than once, how can you do this? Because I will love Rick till the day I die, and Terry, a part of Terry will always love Janice till the day he dies. I know that. She was the mother of his children, Rick was the father of mine. But I tried to explain it, and with the widow group, it occurred to me. You have your firstborn child, and you love them beyond anything you've ever understood love to be. I mean, that is that parent thing, that there's this beautiful little creature. Does that mean that when you have your second child, you can't love them and still love the first one? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, it's just different. But the quality and the level of the love is there, and it's balanced by who that person is. And so you will always love that first spouse, but you can also equally and fully, in a different way, love the second, just like a child. My sister said it the other day. She said, you guys fell in love like that, and you just need to let the rest of us catch up. It was a love that just came into full. It was like a plant that bloomed instantly, and there it was. Do what you will, and you could not do it, and it doesn't change. We get used to each other and all that, but there's a rock hard core of love between us and commitment that I can't imagine would ever go away. We have 4 girls, and we have one that is never accepted, even now. And I love her anyway. She never has to love me back, but the moment I laid eyes on her, I loved her. She's Terry and Janice's child. And so we respect the distance that she wants to keep. And it'll be all right. It's kind of sad, but that's our little bird with a broken wing.
It takes a while. You just don't go out and handing around trust like, oh, she married my mother, he must be a good guy. Leave it at that. I mean, it's an adjustment for everybody, and it takes a while.
How has life been for you guys after getting remarried?
Fantastic, absolutely. I mean, marriage is just like life. When your first marriage, your second marriage, whatever, marriage just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen if you're going to get married, everything's going to be okay. You have to work at it.
Oh.
And you have to work at it every day. And to love again, there's nothing like it. It's great. Second time around, I mean, life is what you make of it. And if you find a good mate, which I have, and I mean, everything else involved in it with the grandkids, and life as a whole, it's different, but man, it's fun.
And I remember standing by the door talking, and he was asking me out, and realized for the first time, as he was speaking, and I'm, yeah, and I was doing this.
Yeah, don't let her kid
yourself. And all of a sudden, I
yeah.
swear to God, I heard my mother, my late mother's voice whispering in my ear, "Don't move." And I'm, okay.
I started talking to her, she was by the door, and by the time we ended up, I was almost out in the garage.
I was so afraid. We went to get our marriage license, and my legs went numb. My feet, Terry, I'm not kidding, something's wrong with my legs. I can't, he practically dragged me.
I said, we're going now because I work for the chips. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not coming back.
Oh, I was just panicking. It was, I'm more timid than I put on. But yeah, when it comes, it's an amazing thing. And don't let it go. Don't listen to convention. Don't feel, well, people say we should wait a year. We tried. We started with a year out date and just kept moving up on us, until pretty soon it was my birthday, and okay, let's get married. And it was great. And I'm so glad we did. We did it right for us.
Well, my dad was, I can say I probably had one of the best dads you could ever ask for. He was 22 when I was born. He was in the Air Force. He was caring and loving and gentle. He was a very gentle person. Just always happy to see you. I mean, he would give you the shirt off his back. He was one of those people. He wasn't real outgoing and loud. He was the one that was more reserved. He was more of an introvert. And so he was a good match for my mom. My mom was just totally out there, just in your face. And my dad was the one that always sat back a little bit. So they were a good pair. I would say they had a very good, strong, solid marriage. You know, my mom says he's, the love of her life, and he was the love of her life, and he was always worried about her, always wanted to take care of her. And I know that had to have been incredibly tough for him when he was getting sicker and sicker. He knew he wasn't going to be there to take care of her, and I can't imagine what that would be like. He was one of those, nobody deserves to go through an illness, especially one that progressively gets worse and worse and worse and takes away your ability to speak and to walk and to do basically anything for yourself. It was heartbreaking, and especially to see someone that he did not deserve that. It was very tough, to watch, but you put on a good face and you stay positive and you try to do everything you possibly can to help. It was very difficult, obviously. Probably the hardest part was for me to watch my mom go through what she went through. I can't even imagine. She was exhausted for a while because it was physically and mentally, it takes a huge toll on you. But it was very hard for me, to watch her. Thankfully, we stayed with her for over a year after he had passed away, and having young children in the house was a huge distraction, and that was helpful. But I would say probably the hardest part is just watching her, what she had to go through. She waited a long time to start dating. She was in the mindset that she was never going to find anybody else, and that was it. She was extremely fearful of it. Which is understandable. When you've been with someone as long as they have, it would be scary to get out there again. She really didn't date that much until she met Terry. I think she went out maybe 1 or 2 dates and came back and said how awful it was and awkward. But I was very encouraging about it. It wasn't about me, it was about her. And whatever made her happy made me happy. So, and I luckily for me, I was old enough to know that, okay, this person isn't going to replace my dad. I just want her to get out and have some joy in her life, finally. I think the weirdest thing was watching another man come into the house that my parents built together and have things get changed and moved, and it's like, because he's so different than my dad was. He's a sports fanatic. My dad was not. Just certain things, and I think that transition that took me a while to get used to. I have all these memories because I'd visit them a lot, and all these memories of my dad, waving as I drive out of the driveway, and then I'd get used to him not even being there, and then here's this other guy there. It was that was really odd to see another man move into my mom's home and just things getting moved around and changed. But over time you get used to that, and I know that no one's trying to replace my dad. It's just, it is what it is. He's gone. My dad had been gone for a few years, so, it wasn't like, happened so fast. But it was, the hard part for me was like, okay, she's going from one extreme to another. And I was happy for her in the sense that I was glad she was happy. But really my only concern was, I hope she knows, what she's getting into because it's so fast. But, my attitude has been she's an adult. She knows what she's doing. I don't have to worry about her anymore. I hope he takes care of her. That's what my dad would have wanted. And at that time I was like, well, You know, I'm not going to try to stop her. You know, if that's going to make her happy, then great.
Well,
Meet me